Success is fulfillment in every aspect of your life, not just money. Money's just one. That's just one aspect. Success is when you're fulfilled in all of the aspects of life. When you reflect, when you do a lot of self-reflection, it helps you to understand how maybe things in the past that weren't received well, maybe why they were not received well. What could you have said? How could you have said it differently? You know what your intent is when you talk to people. So that's something that you have to think about. What is my intent? What is the net goal that I want to come out of this conversation? When you are talking to someone and there's a disagreement, you need to stay on task. Hi, Janna here. Thank you all for tuning in, or thank you all for watching if you're on YouTube. I hope you're all having a really great day, and hope everybody's enjoying the month of December. So I know when this comes out, it's going to be December. My book, Unfuck Your Mind, it's probably out. Should be. It comes out December 11th. So if this airs after that, then my book is out. If not, get ready. And I just, it's my gift. It's my gift to you guys. And, I believe if you've been listening, you know me, I believe that everything that comes our way, the adversities, the pain, the hardships, the difficult seasons of life, it sucks. And you can either stay in that victim mindset or become the victor. You get to choose, right? We don't get to choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we walk through it. We can choose how it affects us, right? So today I want to talk about, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So this one's really, really big to understand. And if you're a parent, it's really, really good to teach our kids that it's not what you're saying always. It is how you're saying it. So if you can hear my dogs barking in the background, that means that somebody probably got here. Anyways, I give an example of this. If you follow me on Instagram, then I've posted on this before, and I give an example of it, right? So, let's say that you're sitting with a friend and they're talking about a big project, and you want to give advice, right? If you were that friend, if you were the person, right, that needed help with something, and somebody said, would you like me to critique it for you? You're kind of like, it's a little off-putting, right? What if they say, would you like my constructive criticism? You're like, yeah, maybe. Or, hey, I don't mind taking a look at it. Would you like my, I can give some constructive advice. Not sure if it'll help, but I'm happy to look. You're going to be a lot more open and receptive to that. Now, I had the same meaning behind every single one of those. Whether I said, do you want me to critique it? Would you like my constructive criticism? Or would you like my constructive advice? All three of those meant the exact same thing to me. But to you, my listener, to the person receiving the message, it came differently to you. You interpreted it, all three of those different. You received all three of those different. They meant the same to me. They did not mean the same to you. So if there's some light bulbs going off, yes, good. Because I know when I've said it this way to people before, it's like, yeah, you're right. And it's easy to hear it when you're the listener, right? When someone's talking to you, and sometimes you're like, maybe they meant that for good, but it just kind of just didn't come out right. It didn't come off good. But when you're the person that's talking, that's saying it, that's where you got to be cognizant of it, because I think sometimes we just are saying what it is that we feel. We're just like, hey, I want to help. And we don't always just think about every little word we say and how we say it, right? And sometimes it gets old and just like frustrating to always just like, always got to think about everything, little thing I say and how I say it. But really, it's just forming a habit. And once you learn to do that, you really just become second nature. Now, of course, I don't always say everything perfect. I don't have much of a filter, but I think going through the things that I've chosen to go through and being a mom of 3 with my 2 oldest teenagers, I definitely have learned how to say things a little different because I want them to be received different, right? Kids are very sensitive and they so easily are triggered by the slightest little thing, right? It's like telling a kid, anything with vegetables. Oh no. They see a food color and heaven forbid anything be green on it. And that's bad, right? It's all perception. It's all in perception. It's all interpretation. And a lot of the times people will say things when they're upset, right? Like, well, it's like, well, hey, I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry you took it that way. Well, it's just the way you said it. And, that's true. The thing is that people don't really go into that explanation. I always use the term know your audience, know who you're talking to. In other words, the people that are the nearest and dearest to me, I know that they know my heart and I don't always have to soften things up for them. Now, when it comes to my kids or, a client, someone I'm coaching or helping, I'm going to speak a little different. I want my message relayed a certain way. And a lot of the times, guys, you only get one chance to relay your message. That's it. In a lot of areas of our life, whether it's talking to someone, um, something that you're pitching for work, I don't care what it is. Any idea you're throwing out, you really just get one time, right? Again, it's people's perception, their perspective, their interpretation, how they receive it. And if you only get one chance at that, I mean, yeah, you got to be very careful about how you do it. So I think if we can put a little more time and effort, a little more effort and energy into how we say things based upon what message we're trying to relay, how we want it to be received, I think we'll have a lot more success in life. And success, if you've been listening to me long enough, I'm not talking just about money. Success to me means like successful in whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life, whether it's with your kids, your friendships, relationships, work, you name it, with yourself. Again, that is success. Success is fulfillment in every aspect of your life, not just money. Money's just one. That's just one aspect. Success is when you're fulfilled in all of the aspects of life. So, for me, sometimes I just have to really sit with things like, okay, I know I need to talk to so-and-so about this and that. And I have to do a lot of reflection. And so I think sometimes when you reflect, when you do a lot of self-reflection, it helps you to understand how maybe things in the past that weren't received well, maybe why they were not received well. What could you have said? How could you have said it differently? You know what your intent is when you talk to people. Okay. So that's something that you have to think about. What is my intent? What is the net goal that I want to come out of this conversation? And whatever that is, that's how you go about it. And, after being in a lot of just having some shitty friendships that weren't really friendships and some, not so good relationships, that's something that I realized is that like when people disagree on things and stuff like that, man, some people just take the gloves off and they go all in and they go ugly. And I know now that a lot of that is off of, a lot of those people, they're not healed yet, right? When you're unhealed, it's so easy to see because you have triggers that just wouldn't be there if you were healed. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I have something in particular in my mind about that, because, there's people in particular, some I know in my life who, gosh, they do not like to be told that there's anything unhealed. Like they absolutely hate it, especially coming from me, because they know me, right? It's people who don't know me that listen to me. And I do have a lot of really close friends, um, and people in my career world who do listen. But it's always like those. There's always a few, right? And you're like, why does everybody else want my advice, pay for it, but you don't? But it's so easy to see when you've done a lot of healing and inner work. It's so easy to see when others have not. They just don't understand how easy it is for us to see, right? So you won't have all these little triggers and things that go off, right? It's like, hey, I haven't done anything to make you feel like that. And then you're bringing all this other stuff into an argument. People bring shit into an argument. It's like, hey, do you want a plunger? Because you keep bringing up old shit. When you are talking to someone and there's a disagreement, you need to stay on task, not go from 0 to 10, pulling shit out of a gutter. Again, what is your net goal? What is it that you want? I absolutely fucking can't stand it if when people are in a disagreement and I have to really bite my tongue when they like, okay, the disagreement is about not wanting to do this activity right here, whatever that activity is. But then they bring up 10 other things from the past. I'm like, oh, wow, you've really been holding some stuff in. Please don't do that. That's not healthy. And don't talk down to me. And, don't think that I owe you an apology because you misunderstood something. You don't owe people an apology because they misunderstand. You can say, I'm sorry you misunderstood. That's not saying you're sorry for what you said. If you didn't say anything that was like rude and degrading and disrespectful, then you don't need to apologize. If you told someone a true fact in a very nice, soft way and that bothered them, you don't owe them an apology. You can say, I'm sorry that bothers you. It bothered me too. You can say that. But the term fight fair, to me, that means you stay on topic. You talk to each other in the manner you want things received. You talk to each other and what that net goal is. If you still want to be married to them at the end of that conversation, if you still want to be friends with them, work with them, be with them, whatever it is, then you better damn well talk to them like that. Okay? So if I sound a little bit passionate about that, I fucking am. Okay? I've been married a few times and had some shitty relationships, and there are certain things I will never, ever do again. Like, seriously. Being talked to a certain way, being made feel I need to apologize for something I absolutely did not do. Like, I have no qualm apologizing whatsoever. When I need to give one out. But I will not apologize to apologize because of your fucking insecurities and fears. You can apologize for yourself for not healing them, but I'm not going to apologize because my truth and reality hurt your scars or wounds still. It's not going to happen. So fight fair to me means speaking in a way that gets the message across the way you're trying to have it received. It's not hard. Okay? Look, I'm one of those people. I'm not a morning person when I wake up. Like the term, I'm not a morning person, I'm a night owl. Okay. Well, I'm a morning person once I'm awake and I have done a few things, definitely had a cup of coffee. Open my eyes a bit. Give me 30 minutes. But one of my biggest pet peeves is waking up and someone not just like, okay, like let's just say this for example, like it's like, do you want a door to be slammed in your face and like, oh, that jolt, or do you want a door nicely closed, right? So in the morning, I don't want a slam door. I want my door nicely open, soft, like let me walk in, open the door, right? You got to open the door in your sentences in the morning. You want to walk and be like, hey, so, we got this to do today and this, and this and that, right? We good? Okay. Or do you want to say, hey, good morning. How are you? Did you sleep good? Okay. Well, I'm going to let you get up. Is there anything you need? Okay, good. All right. That's it. Don't go on your fucking list. I hate fucking lists in the mornings. Jesus, I live off a list. I don't want it in the morning. Let me wake the fuck up. And then after I'm awake, then you'd be like, hey, so I know you're busy. You got a lot on your plate. Just wanted to see if everything we talked about is still good. When I'm spoken to that way, I receive it very well. And that's how I like to speak to people. So when I say know your audience, know your audience. Most people are going to receive that really well. Some people, maybe you don't have to do it. Cool. But you know what? It feels good to be talked to like that instead of just very straight, dry, and like get to it. Let's get to it. Well, let's open the door first. Let's do that. How are you going to open the door in your conversations? Okay, so that's another term I use a lot. Open the door. I don't mean just physical door, but how are you going to open the door to things in life? Right? You got to walk to it, first of all. Secondly, I mean, opening the door to your dialogue, to the conversations that you want to have. How you open the door to your conversations, to your presentations, to whatever it is, that right there, that determines how well people listen and how they receive it. Okay? So if there's been a disagreement, right? And someone needs to come talk to me about that. If they come up and are like, I really just didn't like, that wasn't really cool. I wish that wouldn't have happened. Wish you didn't say that. I'm going to be like, oh, whoa, hold on a second. And let's just say I'm wrong. Let's say I did something that was irritating or I need to apologize for. That's not the approach to take. Yes, it doesn't take away an apology I'm going to give, but it puts me, what does that do when someone comes up to you like that, right? It makes you be like, hey, like, okay, thank you for telling me, but like, hey, let's talk about it. Now, if someone comes up to me and they're like, so, do you have time to talk real quick? I really didn't like how this happened and like it kind of hurt my feelings when this. I'm going to be like so much more empathetic, so much more understanding. My ears are still going to be open to listening. When someone walks up and they go right into me, my ears close. You already lost me. Doors closed, not opening. Try again tomorrow. That's the way I am. How are you? How's your love language? You have to make sure people know that. So what you do is, for example, let's say for me, right? Someone comes up and like, I just really didn't like that you said that. It just wasn't very nice. I'm going to be like, whoa, hold on. More than likely, I'm going to be shut down pretty quickly and not as receptive to that conversation. So if that's the first time that's happened, I'm going to tell that person like, hey, look, I know we've never really disagreed before. And I'm sorry if I've done something to hurt your feelings, but like, hey, in the future, if you take a softer approach, I think that I'll be much more receptive and a better listener. So don't assume people know how to talk to you. You got to tell people how to talk to you. You got to teach them. Sometimes we got to teach it by showing it, by giving that to them, right? So it's not what you said, it's how you said it. So what all in your life can that be applied to, right? So I've said it's not just like talking to someone and trying to offer advice and how you offer it. It's in your work. It's in your disagreements. It's in your arguments. It's it's in every aspect of your life. Communication to me is one of the foundations to every great relationship, friendship, career in life. Communication. Relationships end off of bad communication. Relationships last with good communication. That's not just love relationships with partners, but your friends, your family, all of it. Poor communication is the demise to so much. And it would really suck for people to lose people they really care about and that care about them because they just communicated poorly. We might not have all been taught how to communicate. I know I certainly was not in some areas, but that's not an excuse. You get to still learn and evolve every damn day of your life until you tell yourself you know everything. So be open and receptive to other ways to communicate to people. That person's going to feel better. You're going to feel better. It just all the way around, it's just a better situation. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it, folks. All right, that's it for me today. So, as usual, leave a comment, ask any questions, what else you want me to talk about. And if you are my YouTube subscriber and watching or listening from YouTube, first of all, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. And please, please, please also tune in and listen to it on audio, on podcasting. So Stitcher, Spotify, and Amazon, and Apple, and all of the major platforms. And if you could subscribe and tune in there and rate, that really, really helps me out in growing my audience and helping more people out. All right. Thank you all. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow and, say hi. And I really can't wait to just hear feedback from my book. I can't thank everyone enough for your support. So Unfuck Your Mind by Janna Johnson. All right. Hope you all have a great day. See you next week.